We were looking at price elasticity or demand. What exactly is price elasticity or demand? How do we mathematically calculate it? And how do we characterize products according to their price elasticity or demand? We now want to look at determinants of price elasticity of demand. Now, the idea over here is that we are seeing that there are certain goods that have elastic demand and there are certain goods that have relatively inelastic demand. So now, but the question arises now, what determines whether a product will have price elastic or price inelastic demand? We've already established demand can be price elastic or it can be price inelastic. But what exactly determines whether we have elastic or inelastic demand? The first determinant we want to look at is availability of substitutes. Here, the idea is that the less close substitutes we have, the less elastic or the more inelastic the demand is. Because when you don't have a lot of close substitutes available, consumers don't have much choice. So even if price of a good that doesn't have a lot of close substitutes increases, you can't your demand won't respond much. So the responsiveness or sensitivity or demand is less, thus the less elastic the demand is. When price increases, quantity demanded, when price changes, quantity demanded does not stretch by a lot, it's less elastic demand. Because when you don't have enough close substitutes, so even if price increases, you can't easily switch to another good. Or similarly, if price of your good decreases, that does not have a lot of close substitutes, and there are not a lot of uh, people who would switch to your commodity. Right. So what if you, so on the other hand, if there are close substitutes, then you have more elastic or less inelastic demand. As consumers in this case have a lot of choice, so they can easily switch. So say the price of a good with a lot of close substitutes increases, then quantity demanded will fall by a lot. The responsiveness or sensitivity or demand will be a lot as people will just switch to the substitute because your good is expensive. Similarly, price of your commodity decreases, quantity demanded will increase by a lot as people who were initially using that low substitute will now decide to switch to your commodity. So if a commodity has easily, so in this case, when price changes, quantity demanded stretches by a lot because a lot of low substitutes available, so it's easy to switch. So the consumers have a lot of choice, so can easily switch. Right. So if a commodity has less low substitutes, so the less elastic demand will be, right? Because now you don't have a lot of options to choose from. But when you have more close substitutes, you have options and you can easily switch, so demand is more elastic. If you consider an example, say, let's say we have bottled water from a specific brand versus electricity. Now over here, if we consider bottled water from a specific brand, there are many substitutes, right? So in this case, if price were to increase, you could just choose another brand. You could just switch to another brand. So in this case, you will have elastic demand. Quantity demanded will stretch by a lot when price changes. Demand is elastic because there are a lot of options to choose from, so you can easily switch. Versus something like electricity, where you have few close substitutes, so there's inelastic demand. Because in this case, even if price increases, quantity demanded won't respond by much.